Welcome everybody. We are here with Giulio and Rodrigo. Welcome guys. They are two of our experts in earthquakes here in Padova. So you both work together on this, let's say, interesting topic because it's one of the tricky things, let's say, it's on our planet. Giulio, would you start to tell us a little bit?
Sure.
What you're working
Why Italy and Chile? Italy and Chile because, of course, of wine, which is excellent in both countries, but unfortunately also because of earthquakes. And so this is why Rodrigo from Chile is here, I think. Italy and Chile are one of the countries in the world that have the biggest number of earthquakes per year. In Chile, they're very big, but because they protect themselves quite well, the number of casualties is not as big as in Italy. However, there is a huge interest, scientific interest, and also in applied science, in engineering and so on, regarding earthquakes. Maybe I can give the word to Rodrigo, but I want to stress this point. He is a Marie Curie Fellow, and I'm honored to have him working with me here in Padova.
Okay, thank you, Giulio. This is quite an intro for you, Rodrigo, let's say.
Yes.
Do you confirm all the words of Giulio? And second question, how did you start to get interested in earthquake topics?
Everything started from when I did my career. So I'm a field structural geologist. So I'm focusing how the crust is deformed by the stresses in the crust, and one way of which the crust is deformed is due to earthquakes, so through faults. One way leads to the next. Then we met with Giulio we made a joint field work in the Atacama with another friends and professors from other universities, and I was doing the PhD in that area, so we get to meet before I came here.
So how was the start of your collaboration? Because of course you are interested in the same topic. Of course you work together, and now maybe you know each other a little bit. But at the beginning, is not let's say automatic. That
when you meet in the field, you get to know a person like quite intimately, in the sense that you are alone with this group of people in remote places. We work during the entire day. But then at the end of the day, you come back to a campsite or a place to sleep when you are isolated. You're not in a hotel, and you have to talk with people, share common things like cooking, cleaning. So in these days, you kind of connect with people, and you know that could be something more in these activities.
Giulio, every time we made this kind of interviews, you have to ask the fellow how it is to work with a well-prepared supervisor and so on. But I want to reverse the question and ask you how difficult it is to maybe work with prepared people, maybe sometimes with not prepared people. Not the case of Rodrigo, of course. But what are the feelings on the superior side?
I cannot divide this from Rodrigo. It's very easy with Rodrigo because he does the job. I just chat. He knows this very well. I chat a lot and do nothing. He makes all the job done. I think it's our role. We need to find the money sometimes to pay salaries. In this case, I was very lucky. Rodrigo found by himself his money. So it's thanks to this Marie Curie Fellowship. You need to find the money to run the lab. I think I met him in 2014 in San Francisco, but maybe we were too drunk to remember much about that first meeting, because so I get lost. But I remember.
Yeah, of course, it's a metaphor. Drunk is like a metaphor for drunk of work or some kind of
work. Yeah. Sure, but you cannot be a geologist without wine. I think they are incompatible. Two things. Geology is this, and this is why he came to Veneto for sure. He's a good field geologist. What Rodrigo said is very important because we have been in very isolated areas in 2017, 18, and 19 for several weeks in the Atacama Desert, and we were camping in the middle of nothing, just rocks. Atacama Desert is the most desertic area in the world. It rains every 5-6 years. Few drops of water every 5-6 years. And where you're in a very isolated area, I think you really learn a lot about the people nearby working with you. And we were camping, just in the middle of the desert. And the important thing was that we have a refrigerator to keep the meat ready, the meat ready for the asado that Rodrigo made. So I could appreciate how good he is as a geologist, but how fantastic he is in cooking asado in the desert. And then you have, as Rodrigo said, you have all these kind of interactions, scientific and especially human. And people always forget, that are not familiar with science, when they learn science in books. They totally forget that science is a history of failures and human errors and human behavior. I mean, humanity is everything in our activities. Our theories and ideas and hypotheses will fail sometimes in few weeks after you think them, after you publish a paper, they are gone. But what will remain is our human interaction. And for me, it's the most important thing when I work with people, is to think about this, about how they will grow up and their future. As a supervisor for bachelor thesis, for young people, and when they grow up. And this is the best thing that happens in this job. So I really thank the Marie Curie, and also I would say the European Research Council, which funded 2 grants to me to build a lab here and in Rome and other things, a research group in earthquake mechanics. The great thing is the human experience.
Wow, thank you. It's quite an experience to share. It's a strange interview because sometimes you have to pull out besides things.
I told you, I only chat.
Okay, that's perfect. But so I have to ask Rodrigo if he remembers. I don't know, one specific event in all this experience you made in these strange places, remote places. Maybe there is one episode that you remember, or that
I mean, during field work, everything can happen. Since I mean, you can be, I don't know, things that have happened is like you're by yourself and then the truck is broke. Then you are with students or with other people, and then you are isolated. You don't have back in the days we didn't have like satellite phones, so you have to like walk up a hill until you get signal from the cell phone, because there are not cell phone signals everywhere. So I think that was kind of the most dangerous things that can happen. Like you remain isolated with a bunch of people, that you have fixed amount of water, fixed amount of food, and that's why we always go with 2 trucks or more. The tires are gone.
Rodrigo, maybe you can explain us a little bit more what you do in the field, because you keep talking about what's in the field. So
yes.
I have some ideas, but what are you doing exactly?
So we have all these ideas from the literature, right? And then we search the question we're trying to answer, and then someone knows a nice place to go when we have these faults that are fully exhumated and preserved in the surface. That's why a desert is good, because there's no trees to cover all the land, and you can see actually the rocks. So we go to these faults, we measure them, take samples to bring to the lab to make sure what kind of rocks are, what is the degree of deformation, the chemistry, and then with all this knowledge, and we bring these rocks to the lab, and we start to also, during the field, we start to think about, okay, what processes are involved, and how is the crust responding to applied stresses.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not like that easy. And Giulio, I have one last question for you. Rodrigo, let's assume that Giulio here is the wise man, so you have to sum up a little bit or give suggestions for the newcomers. What are the 2 or 3 most important things, Giulio, in your opinion, to
do research?
To do research and to do this kind of research at this level, meaning getting the funds with the ERC and with the Marie Curie action and some kind of stuff.
Look at nature with the eyes of a child. That's the secret, I think. The big questions are the same questions that a small child will make. Why there are earthquakes? this is a simple question, and already we don't have a good answer for that. I mean, we understand a lot, but we, for instance, we don't understand why earthquakes, how the earthquakes talk to each other, why some earthquakes remain small and other became big, producing, you know, a lot of damage. So, I mean, the most interesting questions are the questions that children do make. Why there is water in the ocean? We don't have an answer for that. Okay, why we have all this water on Earth? This is, I think, these are the questions that are, you know, always moving us forward as humanity. The simple questions. If you start to make a question that is difficult to understand, you are in the wrong direction in terms of, I think, not I would say good science, maybe interesting science. The second one, also, okay, you're not only a child, but enthusiasm is the other very, very important, you know, and energy that you must have. Enthusiasm for life, for what is around you, and I would say a bit skeptical, okay? So I think the good scientists, as Carl Sagan said, that was, you know, one of the best popular science, and also was a great scientist. Carl Sagan, you know, the secrets of the science researcher are enthusiasm and critical spirit. I mean, you must be a bit skeptical, but if you're just skeptical, you're boring, okay? So I always listen to my daughters. They have the big question I'm never able to answer because I'm ignorant, probably.
Okay, so let's say, Rodrigo, you of course we are not as wise as Giulio is, but we can try to say a few words if you have some suggestions.
Yeah, the other thing is, I think it's fundamental is to be humbled in the sense that we don't know what the things we think we know so deeply. So that's why you always have the eyes open to new things and not be fixed by the theories you already believe are true. Maybe you're wrong. That's also like a good starting point to have.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point too. So thank you very much, guys, for your time. Let's keep the curiosity up. If we want to sum up the thing we talked about. Thank you again, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Petro.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.